Just Joe here. I've got too many movies, but I've also got something to say. Before I do this week's episode, which is, I think, already a day late, and it could possibly be 2 days late. In my last episode, I told everybody to be thankful and have a good Thanksgiving. My Thanksgiving wasn't as good. Unfortunately, a few days ago, my Nana, my grandmother, passed away. It wasn't exactly sudden, but it was. So, there's not a lot I can do in her memory. And she always seemed to enjoy my sense of humor. It's not like she knew that this show existed. She knew that I did filmmaking and online stuff, and that was my passion. But she just loved me, for who I was, for who I am, and I loved her very much. So, not to start this on a down note or anything, but like I said, there's not much you can do when someone you care about, someone you love, is gone. So the only thing I can really do, since I was doing an episode this week, and honestly I wasn't really sure if I even wanted to do it. I was thinking about skipping it and maybe just doing 2 next week, but life goes on. And it's only been a couple days, but life has to go on, and she would want me to continue doing what I love to do. And I love to entertain, I love movies, so she would want me to at least try. So if the episode is a little off this week, that's probably the reason, because I'm not really up for being my usual hyperactive, talkative self, but I'm still going to try. I'm still going to watch the movie and hopefully entertain you and hopefully entertain her, if she's up there watching. So, Nana, this episode of Too Many Movies with Just Joe is dedicated to you. I love you. I miss you. Let's get this started. Okay, so this is the final week of November. We're past Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving, and I'm excited to watch final movie for what I've called Spielberg Month. And I've watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is now one of my all-time favorite movies, I can say that for sure. I also watched Jaws, which was very good, and also Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is also a very good movie. But this one, I said it in the last video, is a movie that I particularly have had a hatred for since I was a child. I'm sure I saw this as a child probably several times, and yet didn't really remember anything about it except for the classic scenes, and I mainly know that because it's been parodied to death, and especially with memes nowadays and all this other crap on the internet, so I know everything about it. But I cannot remember the last time I've seen it from beginning to end. I don't have a vivid memory of that. So, in my opinion, I haven't really seen the movie. And it's probably his biggest hit to date, and Steven Spielberg has had a lot. But like I said, I had a hatred for this movie, but I want to see if that hatred is still here, or if I'm going to love it like most everybody else does. And the movie I'm talking about that I'm going to end Spielberg Month on is, if I grab the right one, E.T. the Extra Testicle. Damn it! Extraterrestrial. Terrestrial. Not testicle. Yes, it may shock some people, but for some reason I have always had a hatred for this movie. I thought it was overrated. I couldn't believe it was the highest grossing movie until another Spielberg movie, Jurassic Park. I was like, I don't get it. I remember it being too cutesy and too whimsical and all this crap, and as a kid I just didn't buy it. I didn't really like the alien. That's as much as I remember. I just had a seething hatred for this film and didn't understand why it was such a big hit. But, I got it on Blu-ray for a good price, and it is the original movie. It's not the walkie-talkies, it's the shotguns. If you know the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So I wanted to make sure I got that. I don't know how much else has been taken out or put in, but as far as I know, this is the original extraterrestrial E.T. the extraterrestrial movie from 1982. So yeah, I'm excited to give this a chance. I think I'm gonna need my coffee. Hopefully I don't hate it, but we'll see. All the other films I've watched for Spielberg Month, all the other three I've completely loved. Hopefully I do love this one to end the movie, I'm sorry, in the month on a high note. So I got the movie, got my coffee. Here we go, bye. Okay. Coffee. I just got done watching E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Why I keep doing that? Sounds like a weird porno. Actually, there probably is a porno called that, isn't there? Ugh. But anyway, I watched E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Do I still hate it? Do I love it now? I'm not gonna tell you yet. I'm gonna get into what I always get into first, which is the plot / script. Alright, so E.T. the Extraterrestrial basically is about these aliens that come down, and one of them is what would later be called by the kids E.T. I guess they're botanists, which I was reading on Wikipedia to kind of read about the plot, just to make sure I got some details right. And they're botanists, and they were picking up flowers. It was kind of a little subtle thing, or like plants and stuff, so I thought that was kind of neat. Not really something I noticed or took from, but these government people show up, and the aliens take off, and they leave E.T. behind. He's discovered by the child Elliot, and Elliot takes him in. He lures him in with Reese's Pieces, which I completely forgot that was a part of this. I would have preferred Reese's Cups, but anyway, doesn't matter. But I got him Reese's Pieces. Eventually, he like fakes sick to stay home, and kind of was showing the alien some stuff, and then showed it to his brother, showed it to his little sister played by Drew Barrymore. Weird to see her so young in one of her first film roles, but you know, and really the movie from that point on, there's kind of the government in the background. You know, shady government, the shady US government is in the background kind of watching, and they're there. But for a large majority of the movie, it's just the kid's adventures with this alien, and he wants to phone home, as we all know. And, you know, they build a contraption, him and Elliot, to try to phone home. But eventually the government does show up. It's figured out that Elliot and E.T. have a psychic connection with each other and are connected. And I won't go into full detail of that in case you haven't seen the movie, but him and Elliot have connected so much. And even the mom, they show the alien to the mom because the alien, E.T. gets very sick. And eventually, it gets to a point where it's like they want to get E.T. home, and that's where the climax happens. And really, that's the plot of E.T. The script was nominated for Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, and it definitely deserved it. This is a wonderfully put together script. Great characters. I loved all three kids in this, and even the other kids, the side kids. You know, the friends of the older brother, Michael, I believe his name is. And I really enjoyed that. It reminds me a lot of the Stranger Things cast. It's obvious that they took a lot from E.T. in terms of the group of friends and everything, but I enjoyed the kids in this. I enjoyed their characters. I enjoyed the character of the mom and the backstory of her husband leaving her for another woman and her being a single mom. It's not really talked about that much, but I enjoyed, you know, that character. And what I really enjoyed the most, and I did enjoy E.T. the alien. He's cute, he's fun, he's lovable, loved him. But what I really enjoyed was I always thought, or I always remembered, that the government was the big bad government coming in to take E.T. and we're gonna slice him open and we're gonna, you know, do stuff to his insides. It's gonna be great fun. And no, that's not what happened. The government, to me, was never evil. They were just curious. They weren't out to hurt E.T., they weren't out to hurt the family. I like that. I like that. And I love the fact that it was the shotguns, not the frickin' walkie-talkies, that always bothered me. So, you know, the script was extremely well written, very original. I mean, especially for the time. But even nowadays, if this movie came out, it'd be original. A left behind alien who doesn't know anything befriends kids, and these kids with their imaginations, and they take the alien in, and they're scared at first, but then it becomes their friend. They become close, and the movie doesn't go where you think it's gonna go. It's gonna be about the big bad government, and it doesn't. It's a loving, compassionate story, and it is whimsical, it is magical, and that's a part of E.T.'s charm. That's why it was the highest grossing movie for you know, a long time for like 12, 13 years. And, you know, but the script was very impressive. The dialogue was great. Not exposition heavy. Honestly, it really wasn't. The dialogue flowed well, was natural for the most part. The script was fantastic. All right, next up, I talk about the cast / the characters. I have no beef with any of the characters. I loved Elliot. I loved his brother Michael. I loved the daughter, played by Drew Barrymore. I loved the mom. I love the, I don't know if he was the head guy for the US government, the guy who like didn't want to hurt E.T. He's not in it that much, but I liked his character. The character of E.T., like I said before, he's lovable, he's magical, he's whimsical, he's everything you want. He's cute, even though he looks like a small little pile of like cow crap, basically. The design is kind of gross, but he's still adorable, he's cute. And I remember my sister had an E.T. doll that she had until she was like, I think in her early 30s. You know, she's kind of fucked up. But I love the characters in this so much. There's no one who I thought was shouldn't be there. Anyone who got on my nerves. I thought the kids might get on my nerves. I thought E.T. would get on my nerves, and they didn't. And this was also cast very well. The kid who played Elliot, wonderful job. Wonderful acting. Drew Barrymore did a great job. Sold those crying scenes. The older brother, same way. You fall in love with these kids, and even their mom. She's a good mom, doing the best she can as a single mom. And her reaction to the alien is rather appropriate because she's an adult, and it shows the contrast between children and adults, and I like that. And even the US government guy, I liked him. The friends of the older brother, I liked them and the dynamic between them. It was fun. It reminded me of me and my buddies. You know, so not much to say. Like, the characters were very well written. I loved them. Wasn't annoyed by any of them. And I love the casting of this. It was a great job. All right, last but not least, talk about the directing, editing, and the music. Okay, once again, in another Oscar-nominated directorial effort, Steven Spielberg knocks it out of the damn park. I love the way he directs all the movies I've seen this month, and I love his directing style anyway. He's one of the greatest directors of all time. I hate to keep using this word, but the way he directs in almost a magical type of way, and the way he moves the camera and, you know, follows the characters, and it's not a bunch of we'll get to the editing, but it's not like a bunch of edited shots put together. It's a lot of shots that just keep going and follow the characters and follow the alien, and it's just, the movie was gorgeous to look at, especially on Blu-ray. It looked wonderful. Cinematography is great, but Steven Spielberg, he did a fantastic job. It was obvious that he loved this story, he loved these characters, he loved the alien. And that's one thing I gotta say, the special effects in this still hold up very well, mainly with E.T. I mean, he moves kind of weird, but, and I know it was a person in a costume, but that's my point. It was a costume. And, I mean, a lot of the special effects, they don't hold up as well. A little bit fake, but to me that adds to its charm. It was in the early 80s, and back then these effects were outstanding. But to me, they still hold up. And when they look a little fakish, I like that. It adds to the charm of the movie, but I just want to talk about that for a second. But he directed the visual effects wonderful, the whole Elliot and E.T. flying over the moon, when the kids are on their bikes flying over, it is magical, as this movie is and was. It's magical stuff like that. Steven Spielberg knew which scenes were just gonna, you know, hit you right here, and he directed the crap out of this movie and put his love into it, and it shows. And the editing, a wonderful editing job. And I really don't have much to say about the editing. I have no complaints about it. The movie is almost 2 hours long, flowed very well. The beginning is a tiny bit slow, but there's really nothing that could have been changed. Nothing at all. And I know this movie has gone through a couple re-releases. As far as I know, my copy is mainly the original one. Maybe some other stuff was changed. But like I said, all I cared about was the shotguns not being the walkie-talkies. So I'm good. But the editing in this was fantastic. And the music, it's John Williams. And we all know the E.T. music. It's magical. It's whimsical. And that's the two words for this movie. And the music, John Williams, it's John Williams. 5 out of 5 to John Williams. Hell, 6 out of 5 for John Williams, because good God is that guy talented. And my final thoughts on E.T., obviously, I don't hate this movie anymore. I love this movie. I finally got it. I'm almost 32 years old, but this movie made me feel like a kid again. And I don't know why I didn't understand this movie when I was a kid. Why it didn't grab me. But it grabbed me now, and it made me nostalgic for childhood and those times of wonder and stuff like that. And E.T., you know, is just a very charming, very lovable movie. And it is, once again, say it with me, magical and whimsical, and that's why this movie was such a big hit, because it was for adults, and of course it was for kids, and it still is. This movie is one of the best movies ever made, and in terms of a space movie, it's better than Close Encounters, because it's not mean-spirited at all. It's got this wonderful sense of humor at times, but it's lighthearted, and with the music and the directing and the acting, everything just blended together and came together. Steven Spielberg knows how to put a movie together. And the streak that he was on with Jaws, Close Encounters, Raiders, E.T., like 4 movies that are all in the National Film Registry, or at least 3 out of 4 are. And he was just getting started. This little streak that he was on, I don't think any director ever has been on that kind of streak. Even directors who might be a little better than Steven Spielberg were not on the streak like this. Maybe Akira Kurosawa, but that guy was ridiculous. But this movie is so charming and so good. And the only thing, because it's not going to be a 5 out of 5, it's going to be a little lower, just because I don't see this being a movie like Raiders, where I'm going to just like want to rewatch all the time. Honestly, like, I knew the movie anyway from beginning to end, and I did with Raiders as well, but this time it got me, but not enough to where I'm like, God, I want to rewatch that now, you know, and that's what a 5 out of 5 is for me, when I'm just like, God, I want to go watch that again. Raiders I wanted to watch immediately afterward. E.T., you know, I'll watch it again, you know, probably next year, and I'm looking forward to it, and I think I'll love it even more the next time around, because this movie, it brought a smile to my face during a time when it's a very dark time in my life at the moment, if you saw the opening of my video, and I really needed a smile on my face. And I'm not joking in saying that E.T. made me laugh. It got me misty-eyed. It made me smile. And considering the time I'm going through right now, for a movie to do that, which is not rare, but it's difficult to do, really shows me how much this movie holds up after all of these decades, and how it will always persevere in the future and hold up for generations to come, because the movie is charming, magical, whimsical, put a smile on my face when I needed it, and I thank it for that, and I'm very happy I watched it, and I'm happy that I love it now. So, my Just Joe rating for E.T. the Extraterrestrial is a 4.5 out of 5. And thank you very much for tuning in to Two Me Movies with me, Just Joe, every single Friday, or sometimes a Saturday, depending, sometimes, but mainly Fridays. I do a new video where I pick a movie from my collection and I watch it. It's a movie I've never seen before. And next month, of course, is the month of Christmas, so it's going to be Christmas movies. I've got 4 Christmas movies, 2 that are, one that's really about Christmas, one that's pretty much about Christmas, the other 2 just kind of take place during Christmas, but all 4 I've never seen, and 3 of them are kind of classics, 1 not really, but I'm looking forward to watching all 4 and getting into the Christmas spirit, and hopefully you all do the same and you enjoy watching these reviews during the holiday season, because like I said, the holidays can be a very joyous time. Unfortunately, it can be a very dark time for some people, and for me it's going to be both. So once again, for my Nana, what I love to do is to make people laugh, and I love to make her laugh, so that's why I want to keep doing these during this holiday season, because even though not a lot of people watch these, there may be some people that watch this and they just need to laugh, they just need a distraction. That's why I like watching stuff from online, from people that I look up to or just enjoy their work. So, for Nana, once again, I'm going to, keep doing this, and Hopefully I entertain some of you and make you laugh, and hopefully everyone is going to have a good holiday season. Don't kill somebody trying to go shop. Thank God Black Friday is over with. Although I did get a lot of good movies, some of which I'll review next year. So anyway, but just Joe, hopefully you all had a good Thanksgiving season, and Christmas is right around the corner, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Quiet on the set.